two. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. With a school notes and we're back for more. More guests and topics to explore. School upstairs. Welcome back to the S.U.S. Podcast. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the S.U.S. Podcast where we reunite and bring together while motivating the passionate to pursue pretty sus but join the adventure. So today we're gonna be talking about something a bit different. It dawned on us hosts a while back that we've actually been doing this for a really long time. And even though we don't know yet like what's gonna happen like for the future of this podcast, we really felt like we wanted to do an episode to really discuss like everything that goes into it and all of the challenges and all of the benefits that come along with being content creators and getting to converse with people who we haven't met yet or reuniting with old friends. And so we decided to invite someone who's been in our similar situation as well, someone who had their own podcast run through this pandemic period. Yeah, if you want to introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, I'm Bea, and then I did have a podcast. Like they started during the pandemic, so it was called Beyond Surface Level. And from what Anton told me, I think we had like the similar views and reasons to why we started the podcast. And essentially, like I just kwento about like what my podcast is na. So, like essentially, the podcast was a way for me to, I guess, connect with like people that could be my friends or people that I haven't really met. So it's super similar to what Anton mentioned. So, and it was also to like, encourage people to engage in more meaningful conversations. Because you know how since everything's online now and we're not really with people like physically, so it would be hard to have like that to maintain this connection or relationship with them. And it's obviously very different talking to someone like via messenger or just, hang out with your friends via
Yeah.
the Discord or what. Like it's super different. So I just wanted to like have a platform for me to be able to, I guess, get to know these other people as well and hearing their stories and at the same time like just engaging in more meaningful conversations with them and just as what the title says, getting to know them beyond surface level and talking to them like beyond the usual like hi, hello, or like just getting to know them more, I guess.
Oh man,
That's
similar,
like
no
exactly
jokes.
that's
That's
exactly like why
exactly, what we do too,
I don't
man.
know. It's exactly the same. Like it's like hearing like someone who's on our team like
Yeah.
answer when we ask them why did we start this. It is really
Mhm.
like I don't know. It was so awkward because for us in the beginning because we weren't very open. Like we were very closed per kada. So when we started doing this, like I don't know how many times we've mentioned this not throughout episodes, but it was actually a joke.
A
It's supposed
lot.
to be a joke. We we actually had like a few trial runs also. Like what happened with your first episode. We had a few trial runs before we like landed on a proper one, and even that one for us wasn't like the best, and we just decided to put it out there, and then bahala na lang whoever would support it, and
Yeah.
whoever wanted to like take what they wanted to get from our episodes.
I mean, it's still our most viewed one, so I
Yeah,
guess
well,
it
that would
went
be
pretty
sad. It's
well.
still our most viewed one. Thank you to whoever you are, people who are listening to our first episode.
Shout out to those listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess you already kind of like answered this when you explained like what your podcast was all about. So I guess I'll just make it more specific na lang for it's a bit different. What was the moment during like COVID when you decided that you wanted to do something like this? I mean, you did say like in your episode one that you did have like a few trial runs and you had people listen to it, which means that you had some time to like decide if you're really gonna like put out this content or not and
Yeah.
like share this part of yourself with like complete strangers, right?
Well,
So
I guess
yeah.
for yeah. Well, for me, because I've always like enjoyed listening to people like and hearing their stories. So and I noticed then during the pandemic, lots of people have been doing their podcasts. Because before, like the only similar content I'd say na with people sharing stories would be vlogs. But then I got like I wasn't super comfortable doing that, and I think it was something that I didn't have the time also to do. So I just and I think when I saw na podcasts were starting to yes rise, or like I saw more people doing it, and I figured out like how they're able to do it. I thought to myself, okay, why not, why not start now? Like, why not start a podcast? And if I'm not, because I've been thinking about doing one since before, but then I've just been like, putting it off because
Mhm.
like there was so many stuff, like so much stuff happening. I had like so many school requirements and whatnot. But then I thought to myself, okay, oh, and I felt that I was also giving excuses to myself. Now, okay, maybe I'm just not ready now, or maybe I don't have the right equipment, or maybe I am like not doing it correctly or whatever. And then I was talking to my friend about it, and she told me, they know if you're not gonna start now, then when? And I just saw like I remember a quote that I saw recently. It was like instead of saying like one day, why not make it like why not turn it into your day one? I forgot the exact quote. Like that's not the exact
Mhm.
quote, but then that's the essential, I guess, meaning of the quote. And yeah, so I just went for it and just recorded like something really raw. At one point, I could hear one of my recordings. It was even like I had a script pa for it, and it like when because I was super conscious also as to like what I was gonna say, and I wanted to like I'm someone who really likes planning, so I thought that okay, maybe if I would not have like a script, baka it wouldn't be good, or I'd probably like mess up a lot. But then when I listened to it, it just didn't seem authentic. Like it lost its authentic touch, and it felt forced also. So I thought, okay, you know what? I would not make a script now for it. Like I'm just gonna make an outline, but then I wouldn't make a script. So I did
Mhm.
that, and then I just after going like I attended this talk, and then after that talk, because it was very inspirational for me. So after attending that talk, I thought to myself, okay, you know what? Let's just do this. I'll just record myself and just talk. Like whatever comes to my mind, I'll just say it. And yeah, that's that's it. So
Mhm.
that was just like the moment where I figured it like I thought to myself that, you know what, I'm gonna this is gonna be my day one. I'm gonna do the podcast. But obviously like I have not been able to update the podcast. So, but I'll get to that later.
Mhm. It must have been like super nice though, like the feeling of actually taking the first step, because
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
like it seems daunting at first, like wanting to start a podcast, because starting a podcast isn't like super simple. It's not like a nothing where you can
Yeah.
just do it like whenever you want. You really have to like think about it. I mean, well, maybe us, because for us naman, we were like, oh, like we want to just record our calls and then see how people react to it. Because as a group, we think we're pretty funny. Like we have pretty funny conversations in our calls, and we're like, so yeah, let's put that out there and see what they think. So yeah, and it went pretty badly because we had to do it twice. And yeah, so ayun, but it's very commendable nga for you to be able to like go over that hump, or maybe even doubts that you have in yourself, um, to start your podcast. And, despite um, it not currently going on right now, like what you mentioned, and you probably mention even more later, at least you have some stuff out there, diba? And you
Yeah.
never know, the people who may have listened to the few episodes that you have out, some maybe have found it very, like inspiring or interesting, or probably
I
made them
hope
think.
so.
Yeah, right, diba? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even to be able to do this like on your own, like just thinking about it now, like the four, like we were four in the beginning, and we were terrified. Like even if like it was basically just like we were on call and then record and bahala na who sees it, because we're not gonna really be
Yeah.
able to see. It's so scary to think that like what are people gonna think if they hear this one thing
Yeah.
that I say, right? Or if they hear the
Mm-hmm.
side comment that someone else says, like are they gonna think we're a bad group, or like that our entire
Yeah.
like show is gonna be just all like nonsense? Like it's so
Because
gosh.
if you think about it, like I remember us as a group, like back when the world was normal, we weren't really the most like well-known
Social.
group,
Yeah.
diba? We weren't like, people didn't really like know us. I mean, like not a lot of people knew us. And then like just a year, 1 year later, we're actually putting ourselves out there for people to kind of like watch and see like who we are. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some people who we knew, like let's say from high school, would say na parang, oh, I only really got to know you guys through the podcast.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
before that, I didn't know like a thing about you guys. So yeah, it's crazy.
It's the necessary
True. And
step.
then then for me, like parang another reason na I guess I was also a bit hesitant at first was super similar to like what Anton mentioned na because I was scared. What if I say something wrong, or
Mm.
what if I like what if some people think na, like for me, what if I think that nothing like it was okay lang, but then for other people they might think na oh maybe that was a bit off, or maybe like that was not like that wasn't right. So I like, that was something that I guess also contributed to putting me off starting a podcast. And it's honestly really scary to put yourself out there because you wouldn't know who's gonna watch or who's gonna listen to what you're gonna say and like what their thoughts would be.
Yeah.
But then I guess I guess for me also like in a way when I did the podcast when I started it, that was also the time wherein I thought to myself na why should I care about like what other people would think
Mhm.
as like I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I'm not hurting anyone with what I'm doing. So like I mean if they're gonna give me like constructive criticism, then I'm up for it. But if they're just gonna say it, if I'm gonna get conscious because of overthinking na baka they're judging me or whatever, then like why should I care about that? Like they're not really doing anything that's positively contributing to my life. So I shouldn't
Yeah.
care too much about what they think. Although like I do get through some instances in my life wherein I go back to that phase na I start caring too much about what other people
Mm.
think. But then, you get those days where you just feel na, you know what, whatever, bahala sila. Like what they're gonna think. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go for it and just put myself out there or just do what makes me happy as long as I'm not hurting anyone, then yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Because you're posting a conversation initially,
Mm.
That
you
too.
know.
Like conversations that had this been like face to face would have been a one-on-one type thing instead
Mm.
of like one on my god, how many listeners
Yeah.
does Spotify have? Like millions who could just stumble upon you and be like, oh my god, what's this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Okay, so now that we know, you know, at surface level, fun, your podcast. Um, so we want to know more about it. So like, how did you like decide on how to conduct your show, your podcast? So you could talk to us about like, maybe the planning process of like what kind of episodes to put out and how you reach out to guests,
Mhm.
or actually doing the episodes and the editing, post production, all that. So
Okay, actually, because I'm someone who really likes writing, like the stuff that I'm gonna talk about, or like the stuff that, like my plans in general. So
Yeah.
wait, I'm not sure if it's still here, but like I remember this was this notebook that I was using at the time. So I'm just gonna look for it. But I know I had like the plan thing
the
here, either on my notebook or like it's a notes app,
Yes,
but
it's in the
yeah,
notes
I'm
app in the
pretty sure.
phone. It's
It's
all there. All
either
of the outlines are
either
there.
like either the notes app talaga or this one. But okay, wait, let me just look for it. I'm not sure if it's this one, but okay, yeah, wait, I see the okay, yeah, I think this is the initial plan. So I wanted to do an episode every week, and then I wanted to like schedule it talaga. Even made an email address for it, and then I would
Mm.
do like the logo and all pa, and then like I would do it like I'd post on my IG story and if you guys have any questions, blah blah blah. And then my friends would ask questions from mine. And then other than that, like and then I would make an infograph talking about the topic before, like who the guests would be. And then after that, like highlights from what that person talked about. And then what else? So then I'd do promotional pa and all that. So it was honestly when I was thinking of all of these ideas, I was motivated, obviously. Like I'd just write all of these things, and I'd think of like I'd come up with so many ideas. But then I feel that that was a like another contributing factor as to why I not really got turned off with continuing the podcast. Like that wasn't the case. But then I feel that I placed like because I was planning so much stuff, I felt that it was overwhelming for me, and I got
Mhm.
like I felt pressured that okay, wait, I'm not able to like do this thing that I planned for this day for the podcast. So what's gonna happen now? Like I've lost the flow, or, like the rhythm for it. So wala, like I think planning in general, like there's nothing wrong with it, but then like it's something I still do, but it became too overwhelming for me because I planned so many things. And okay, I'm someone who has a really short attention span, so got I think I got a bit sidetracked, but maybe you can like repeat like the exact question for this one because I feel that I talk too much. And
No,
then
that's okay.
parang
We
wait,
encourage that.
like is this still the same thing na like does this still answer the question that they initially asked? Because
Yeah,
I just keep
it
talking
did.
and talking. But yeah, so like in terms of the plan, that was just
Yeah.
it. Parang with the process also, I wanted to well have my friends as my guests because I do
Mhm.
think that like when we have because I've had like lots of heart conversations with my friends
Of
or just like
course.
parang kwentuhan lang with them, but then the kwentuhan turns into something more deep or sentimental or
Mhm.
whatnot. So that was also like one of the things that I guess also inspired me to do something like this because I felt that okay, some of the stuff that my friends say they're actually pretty inspirational and they're actually pretty I'd say good and insightful. So I think that maybe other people might find it inspirational as well or might find it insightful as well. So why not, have them on board and like just record the conversation. But then yeah, for the process, okay, yeah, like the questions coming back to me now. The
Mhm.
for the process, I wanted to get my friends on board, obviously, and then I figured that maybe okay, in the long run or maybe in the near future, I could get other people as guests, like other people who I think have inspiring stories, or other
Mhm.
people that other audience members or even my friends would suggest that they feel would be able to share something with the audience. So yeah, that was like the process for getting guests for the show, and then I just like talk about like a bit about the full process of recording because yeah, I was a one woman team for
Yeah,
that
that's
for
why I
that.
was like hearing what she had to go through. Like we split that
Yeah.
between all of our members, and we were still like overstressed. And I can't imagine like one person doing all of that on their own.
So I was like my own producer, and then I was the
Yeah,
host as well, and I was also the
the editor
writer
and
for
the
it
like
and editor and
writer.
all
Oh
that.
my
Yeah.
god.
So yeah, so
Crazy,
many
crazy.
things are happening, but ayun, for me, yeah, that's why I had like a schedule na I wanted sana like if I'd have the recording on like every Sunday or
Mhm.
Saturday. But like I'd have the recording scheduled on a specific day. And then after the recording, since I'd have the clips already, I'm gonna schedule a day for editing. And then I'm also gonna schedule a day for promoting it online. And I'm also gonna schedule a day for like getting people to ask questions. And then I'm also gonna schedule a day for like additional promos and stuff. So it was hectic. Like I added additional stuff for myself to do. But I mean, it was fun because I liked what I was doing. But it just like I guess I just got too busy to the point. Like I know that's not a good excuse, but
Mhm.
like I just because I did like what I was doing, and but then like I felt overwhelmed, and I felt that I placed too much pressure on myself for the podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely understandable because again, you're a
It's
one woman show.
overwhelming to be one.
Yeah, it kind of makes us think na parang during the times that we get stressed,
Yeah, there's
it
so
puts
it's
things
so
into
little
perspective.
compared to like other
Yeah.
people.
No,
Hmm.
it's okay. It's okay. But like it was just also because I was like had so many other commitments pa outside. Like
Ah,
because
yeah.
Yeah, of
this was
course.
just my passion project, right? Something that I wanted to do because I liked it and I was something I was passionate about and all. But then I had other commitments pa. Like I had ACADS obviously, and then I also had like orgs, and then I had an internship, and also like so many things were just happening at once, all at once, and I felt that I didn't have because I have this problem of saying yes to so many things
Mm.
without really thinking about it. Na parang oh, like would I still have time for this, or
Yeah.
without even thinking about my like, own well being. So I would just say yes to all these things, and I had like so many commitments na happening at the same time, and then I wouldn't have enough time for myself. Wouldn't have enough time to rest because like my rest would then be time to do other things. And I think that since I wasn't in the right, I'd say I wasn't in the right headspace
Mhm.
to continue the podcast because I felt that I think it would be like people would probably feel na something's up or like something's different because
Yeah.
yeah, like I wasn't 100%. So and I didn't want to post something na knowing I wasn't like I'm not 100% in that video or in that output. So like I thought to myself, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to take a break. I felt na why would I continue doing something pa if I know na I wouldn't be able to do my best and or I wouldn't be able to give my
Mm.
best. Like I'm someone who really likes na if I'm doing something, then I have to really do it well.
Mhm.
So ayun, like I just felt pressured also by that, I guess, because like the podcast was initially just something that should have been chill and should have been my escape in a way, but
True.
I just wasn't like in the right headspace, so I got to continue it, and I
Mhm.
felt that I was pressuring myself too much as well with it, so it lost its passion aspect. Okay, I feel like I just blabbered and the sidetracked na
No,
super,
no.
but yeah.
That's what we encourage. Like there's so many times where the guests are like jahe because they're like, oh my gosh, did I share too much? And then we're just like, no, this is where the meat of the conversation will
Yeah.
come from. Like just don't hold back. Like we really want to be that space where people can just not feel
Yeah.
afraid to talk. It's so like
Yeah.
there's so many like what you said circumstances where um people feel that like they're not in the correct mindset or like if they're not physically like well enough to do an episode, like those are things that really have to take priority over our episodes. um and we've been super fortunate that we're more than just a one man team because there have been a lot of like things that have affected whether it be the quality or like the situation of how we do our episodes. Like this is actually the first time we're also sharing this with our audience, but like
Ooh.
there are so many episodes where one of us are missing because the schedules are just like too hectic. Like especially today, shout out to our third member, Mr. Intel Edward. He's in law class right now, working super hard.
Oh.
We're super sad he couldn't be
Shout
here.
out.
Yeah, but like before you continue, like
Yeah.
respect to our friend Enzo because despite being in law school and we already know law school is like super hard, but it's not easy. But he still finds the time to be in certain episodes when he's free. And when he's there, you really see talaga the I guess like the full force of the screw ups. Pero um he does a great job talaga of being a host and we're proud
Managing
of
his
him of what he's
schedule.
doing now. Yeah, managing his schedule, what he's doing in law school and whatnot. So yeah, wish he could be here, but unfortunately he can't. But shout out to you, man. We love you.
Shout out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you really have to like make sure that you're in like the best headspace to be able to do
Yeah, very
something like
important.
this. Not
Yeah.
something that like sad to say that we consider because we have a habit of really going with like whatever the guest wants. That's why whenever we reach out to someone, like same with you, we just said whenever you're free, like we'll adjust to you because we're kind of fortunate to have the time now to just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
that flexible and we really want the people who we try and get to be on our show, so we'll do really like anything as much as possible to make sure that we can give them the time that they need to get ready and whenever they're like to do something like this with us, like it's just a pleasure on our end. That's why we like adjusting. Like
Yeah.
Mhm. But good on you for
yeah, for sure.
recognizing to like uh, prioritize yung alam mo na,
Yourself.
mental health and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because also like I've actually planned to like relaunch it earlier
Ooh.
this year, and then like there were so many instances talaga, and I thought because like I really liked what I was doing non,
Yeah.
but then
Mm.
it's really fun. Like I'm pretty sure you guys would agree now, like with what you guys are doing, you're enjoying it as well, and
Super.
it's something I wanted to really do talaga, but this time do it how I initially thought of. Now it would just be like a safe space, a chill podcast na I wouldn't have to feel pressured to do.
Mm.
So it's something that I wouldn't have to like set the okay, every Tuesday I have to upload an episode, blah blah blah. Like just something that if I have time, then I'm gonna do it. And if I have like people na are willing to go on the show and like we have like our schedules would match, then why not? Like just go for it. Something that it's just really casual and chill.
Mm.
And I've been planning to do so. But okay, for the first one, like I changed the branding pa and all, like yung the logo, etc. But then the first one, I think I had a planner for it, but I'm not sure what happened. I got busy with school again. So and then
School talaga.
school talaga. No, but yun nga. After that I plan to do like I plan to relaunch it talaga sometime like I think before the semester started. And I was talking to my
Mm.
friend about it. Like I wanted the first episode to be just us, like talking about how we're managing things and how life's been like in general for us. Because the last episode it's been a year, more than a year actually, since the last
Mm.
episode on my podcast. So I felt that maybe it would be nice if the first episode, since like after a year, would be an episode wherein I'm just gonna like kamusta a friend, or like we're just gonna talk about how things have been for us within that year and how we're managing and like all of these things that we're doing while the pandemic is ongoing, etc. So that was like my plan for it. And my friend was super G to do it, but then we were so like shout out Dana, but then we both got super busy talaga with school and orgs again. So it's hard to find time and then in the
Yeah.
online setting because I wouldn't say na teachers are giving us so much stuff to do. Well, at least like for me, I
Mm.
personally am fortunate na it's not as intense compared to like how other people have been experiencing like the ACADS online. But then there's just so much talaga that's going on online, and I feel that since well our lives have practically shifted online,
Yeah.
there's this like the lines between work, school, orgs, time for yourself, time for your family, they've all been blurred. So even
Yeah.
though you think na you're not really doing a lot or like your schedule's free for school, but then you would have other commitments pa like outside of it, and they all just like contribute to you not having as much time as you would want to. Although yeah, I know naman na we could like adjust your schedules, but then yeah, it just goes back to the first thing I said na we didn't really want to do it if we know now we're not in the right headspace to do it, or if
Yeah.
we feel na parang we feel overwhelmed, because
Mhm.
it would be halata in the show, and it would like the audience would probably notice na, oh, I think maybe they're just doing this to get it over with, or just
Mm-hmm.
doing this for the sake of having content, and that's something that
Yeah.
I don't want to be like felt by people who are listening, or be seen by people who are watching like the video format. I wouldn't want them to think na I'm just doing this because wala, like just content, parang okay, like mema post. But I wanted to do this because it's something that I really like, and it's something I want the episodes to be something that I would say I'm proud of. So yeah, hopefully like
Yeah.
I'm super duper G to like continue it. And hopefully before the year ends. Because I
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
hope at Ateneo shout out, but I hope that the academic break does push through. Because like I've been hearing that there might be an academic break, so I'm hoping that there would be, because that would be like a perfect reset for us, and
Mm-hmm.
it would be a time for us, like for all of us in Ateneo, to just really take a break and
And
rest
breathe.
Yeah.
and breathe. Exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
ayun, hopefully though, like I'm super considering to like to continue beyond surface level. Like it's something that I don't want to die. The idea of it, because yeah, I think that could also be my form of relaxation or like release then. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And hopefully like when you do get to like relaunch your podcast, that yeah, you do find it to be this place nga where you could just do what you wanted it to be in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, diba? And yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like kasi kami, I mean, we definitely can't say na parang we relate to like most of your experiences kasi yung struggle nga of keeping the podcast like on. For us naman kasi like we started the podcast when we graduated, so we had all the
Mm.
time in the world. So it's a completely like different,
Yeah.
yeah, diba? So we definitely understand na, especially for those maybe who are fans of your podcast, you know, watching this. So we definitely understand talaga na it's hard. I mean, balancing everything and being at home while doing all of that, it's difficult, diba? I mean, maybe it's a different
Yeah.
story if the pandemic never happened, but
Yeah.
you know, wala eh.
It is what it
You
is.
can't. Yeah, it is
It
what it
is what
is,
it
diba?
is.
Hmm. But good luck. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
We believe.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Wow, that that was a big question. That was a big question.
That
Okay.
actually answered like
Yeah, it
one of the
answered like
questions.
one of them. So that's fine. All good. See, that's the magic of conversation. You end up
Yeah.
like opening doors that aren't meant to be opened yet. That's all
Mhm.
good. Okay. So like you said, your episode run was really short. So like obviously you've had a lot of time to do other stuff since then. So like what have you been doing? Like we know that you write like articles for Spin PH, right, as well. So like how has that experience been for you to be able to get back into the role of, being a host, getting to hear other people's stories, like getting to feel that host setting again of like of being in this position where you just get to like listen people out and hear what they're passionate
Uh-huh.
about.
Well, because for me, with the experience in spin, it's mostly just, well, I have interviewed people. Like I've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to
Yeah.
interview people who are working in that industry, in the motorsport industry. But then most of the stuff I do there would really just be writing. So it's either I would like be reviewing Formula One races, or I would do a feature on something that would, I guess, connect Formula One to a local audience. So it's mostly that, like just writing. It's been really fun because even before college, writing is something that I've been passionate about, something I've been doing a lot. So I took a break also from writing actually, because just like a super side though, but I feel it's related to it and somewhat related to like the whole podcasting. But then because when I was in grade 11, I started writing for different publications, and then when I was
Wow.
in grade, because so when I was in grade 12, it's not that I got tired of it, but I just wanted to take a break and focus on college, so preparing for college, because I
Mm.
was going to a different school for college. I was applying, so I wanted to focus more on that. So I took a break from writing, also because I felt na I had like, I wouldn't really say I got super burnt out, but I mean in a way, yeah, because I have been like writing like nonstop. So I'd write for school, and then I'd write for these publications, like after, so I'd cover events and all that. So it was a bit, it became a bit overwhelming for me. So I took a break and focus on preparing for college and just getting through my last year in high school, or last year in senior high. So after that, I yeah, first year of college, I didn't really write as much. And then second year, I thought, I during my sophomore year, I kind of missed the feeling of writing because it's something I really, really enjoyed. So and then I've been really into Formula One since like at the start of the pandemic. 'Cause I remember watching this movie. You just I keep getting sidetracked, but yeah.
That's all
Go
good.
Anyways,
That's
ahead.
I
Go
part of
ahead.
it.
So I was watching this movie. It's called Ford versus
Ford
Ferrari.
v
Ford v
Ferrari.
Ferrari. Yeah, Ford Ferrari. So I watched that movie, and then I know like the adrenaline rush that I felt after watching it made me look into like other
Yeah.
racing categories or championships. So then I stumbled upon Formula One. Like I've been hearing about it a lot before, but I wasn't really able to follow. Like I was didn't have the chance to follow the races, and I didn't know anyone who was watching. So like I just didn't have any connection to it before. But then when I watched Ford v Ferrari, and then just felt the adrenaline rush, and then I started getting into it, like watching the highlights and quali, because I think around that time they were also on break because of the pandemic. Like they couldn't do their
Mm.
races, so and they had that break, and I started following like the people who were part of it, like some of the drivers and teams. Then I saw that one of my close friends was following the account, and she liked one of the drivers or the team's photos. And I reached out to her and said, "Oh my gosh, wait, do you watch Formula One?" And then she said, "Yeah, yeah, but I haven't seen anyone else watch it." So she was also surprised. Na, "Oh my gosh, so you're also watching it, blah blah blah." And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm getting into it." And then the rest is history. But yeah, so with that, since I've gotten super into it talaga, and I missed writing as well, I thought, okay, you know what, maybe because I haven't seen as well like other local platforms or local publications covering it. So I thought, okay, why not be that person who would cover it here? And then and like just reached out to a couple of publications, and then fortunately Spin took me in, and I'm contributing for them now, and it's been really, really, really fun, and just something that I also see as my form of relaxation now. Like I know that sounds weird that you're gonna find the work as something relaxing,
No, that
but
just means
it's
that
Hey,
like you're not
I
you
technically
like
know,
it.
working.
Yeah.
You love it, so it's not work.
Exactly,
that's the
exactly. So
dream, diba?
Yeah, that's a dream right there.
because since I really liked what I was doing as well, it didn't really feel like work. It was just an
Yeah.
extension of it's me putting my passion into words or acting upon something I'm passionate about, which is kind of similar to like why I started the podcast in the first
Yeah.
place, because it was something that I really enjoyed talking to people and I really enjoyed sharing insights with them. So why not do something for that? And yeah, just yeah, I tried to find a way to be able to connect it just so that my cuento would make sense as well. But that's something I've been doing like mostly writing and school.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a thrill talaga that you get from writing. Like no matter what it's about, that just it's indescribable. It's something that
Yeah.
can't be matched in like how you feel like to see your work as it's being like progressed, right?
Yeah.
Side kwento na yan, side kwento na yan.
Yeah, go,
We
go.
don't need to we need to
Come
include
on,
that.
man.
Yeah, you
No,
go.
no wala. When like because when I was like when I was a little kid, like I used to love like making comics, and it used to be pure like drawings and stuff lang. And then it started progressing into like writing. But I could never really find the time to do it. Like when we were still in high school, I would make them point to like, oh, I'm gonna write a story that's like about our group because I see so much like potential here and all of that. And I never found the time to do it. Like when college started, I sort of like I found reasons not to do it, like what you said, like excuses. I was like, that's just a side thing. Like I wasn't really feeling passionate about it. But then when COVID hit, wala nang excuse. Like I'm at home. I
It's
I
time.
have to start at some time. And then yeah, when I started writing again, like my God, the rush that I got, like I think because I wrote okay, I wrote like an entire trilogy through the
Ooh,
yeah through the
wow.
pandemic.
Let's go.
Yeah, and hearing these guys like
Hey.
fresh reactions after like I think the second book was finished, like that's what pushed me to finish the third one in like less than a month. Like it wasn't even like that I was rushing it. Now it was more that like I know exactly what I want
Yeah.
to see, and then I was just so like, oh my gosh, like every time I see it in my desktop, because I don't read them full anymore, but time to time, like when I when I'm bored, I'll just like go back to my books and I'll just be like, the fuck did I have the time to write all of this and to like think of all of this stuff
It's
that I didn't know
it's
would be
insane.
relevant now. And it's really so crazy talaga the thrill that you get from writing. That's why I understand like how you can see it not as work. Because if I did
Yeah.
that for a career, shit, that wouldn't be a career anymore. That'd just be getting paid to do what I love.
Yeah. What do you
Mhm.
mean? Are you done like with your books now? I'd want to see it. Like if you're comfortable with
I
that,
There
and
mean,
you
then
yeah,
go.
read it.
There
sure.
you
I
go,
can
man.
send the first. It was supposed to be
Actually,
just two books, and then it became a
yeah.
trilogy, and then I started adding more and more lore to it because I was like, there's so much story to tell. Like I know there's a point where it has to end, but I didn't feel that it needed
Yeah,
to end. Yeah, sure, I can.
I get you.
I can
Because
sure.
Mhm.
actually, you're like the first person I know who was able to finish a book. Like actually, that's something that I'm amazed at with people. Like, how do you guys like? How do authors finish a book? Because
Yeah.
for me, like
Mm.
I've just like the extent of my writing would be like before I would do creative writing when I was younger, but then the extent of my writing now, or like in terms of career wise, would be just like doing articles, writing about a specific topic, and just like
Mhm.
max would be essays as well, and then
Yeah.
articles. So I'm honestly amazed at people who can do a freaking book, like one whole book talaga. And what more for you? Like you were able to do a trilogy. So cool.
Yeah, this guy was like chucking
Thank
out
you.
books left and right in like a year. I was like, whoa, whoa. I mean, as a consumer of your work, man, I'm like, I'm happy, but holy crap. I mean, do you just like write these like every day, diba? Nonstop. And we actually,
Yeah.
siguro plug na lang din, we actually like did a table read of his first book.
Half
Only
of it.
half of
Oh.
it though. And then we posted it in our YouTube channel.
Yeah, you can see the
So
full.
it's
That one is
there.
a full video, not highlights. So if you ever wanna like
Yeah, that was full.
Okay,
watch it,
okay. Yeah.
but yeah,
We
for
had
sure.
like our
I will
friends
share
as
my
like,
secret
hmm,
creations because I'm so hiya talaga. Like I really only share it with like my barkada, my close friends, and then when people ask about it, that's when I'll be more comfortable to be like, yeah, if you want to read it, like go along. Because of course, like it's scary when you see people read like what
Mm.
you wrote because they're seeing how you think, like the way that you view the world and everything like that. Diba? So it's pretty intimidating. But thank you for your
Understand that.
praise.
Yeah.
Back
Super
at you.
guts.
Back at you. Super props
No,
for
for
like
real talaga.
yeah. I'm just like enjoying this, like I'm witnessing this, like people who do um the thing that they're passionate about. And so like good for you guys for, you know, like having that and enjoying it and doing something good with it. So yeah.
thank you for
Thank
making me feel like a
you.
guest. I
I'm actually
saw what
the
you
lone
did there. You
host
were like,
talaga. This is my podcast now.
I just remember the meme that's like, I'm the captain now.
I'm the
Sorry.
captain now.
well,
Look at
he
me
is the
now.
captain. He's the
Okay.
eldest in our group. So
Oh.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, well, the next question we have after that one was already answered actually. That was
Oh.
the if you planned on like
Mm,
continuing your
continuing.
show, and yeah, you did like have plans, and ayun, best wishes with that. We hope na you do have that time to do it, and when you do it, it would be something that you're having fun doing. So yeah, can't wait. So we're definitely going to be supporting your
yeah,
podcast if
Thank you
ever.
so much.
like
Thank you. Oh, like,
low key, that was
sorry.
our like underlying goal for this. We were like, okay, she stopped her podcast. We're gonna make her want to continue
Yeah,
it by the end.
we're gonna
Yeah, we
make
were
her
like,
do.
we have to get her to say she wants to continue. Like that's the goal of this episode.
Well, mission accomplished. So props
Mm,
to you guys.
Yeah,
But
for
no,
sure.
actually, for this one, but since I wanted Beyond Surface Level to become more chill talaga.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
I like, okay, this is just like a sequel, first reveal. But then I am planning to do something not like related to interviewing people. Then I want it to be like there's a specific topic or category or like
hmm
Yeah.
yeah,
so there's gonna be like a specific one now, unlike before with Beyond Surface Level na it was and with how I would plan to do Beyond Surface Level again, it would just be like really chill and not super planned. Whereas with the
Mm,
other one, I wanted it to Sana to be like I have an idea of it, but I just haven't been able to really conceptualize properly. like how I'd want to do it and like what the teams would be. But
Yeah.
I am planning to do something that involves like interviewing people. So that's something I really like for sure. That's something that I'm gonna like I plan to do before this year ends talaga. But like if ever not before this year ends, because I don't want to rush myself also.
Yeah, of
Something that I
course.
could do like I could release maybe early next year. But yeah, there is a plan for to continue beyond surface level and at the same time have something like do something or do a show rather that would involve interviewing people and have like a specific theme revolving around it. So kind of like what I do for like kind of like what I did for Spin with the interviews that I
Mhm.
had before. Just I was interviewing people and asking them like how like for one of the interviewees that I interviewed her and asked her about her racing experience and like how she started. So I guess something quite similar to that. But yeah, just stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah. Oh. So I love how technically the question was answered already, like kanina.
You
Pero
found a new way to
you
answer.
were able to still give like new insights pa. Kasi like the sub question to that, like do you plan to go in your show anytime soon? After that, it's like what direction would you take like after taking a break for so long? And yun nga, you mentioned that you're planning on like maybe having a different kind of having like variety in your content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, I mean, she did have the doc of the questions, but like,
Yeah, yeah, Prano, we sent it to you. Like,
yeah.
oh, another
Yeah.
another secret for
Let's
you
just give her.
guys.
We'll give her the points for spontaneity. We'll pretend
Yeah.
she never saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Wow, naging therapy na this next question. Okay, so
Oh,
going deeper than beyond the surface level. So let's like go
wow.
Oh,
deeper
another party.
into the yeah.
I
Let's
Fun.
go.
love it.
That should be the name when you relaunch it. Like deeper than
The
beyond surface
Swiss.
level.
We have a
Um,
pun counter. There's
yeah,
two
we have a
now.
fun content. That's two.
So tuna. Okay.
You have free marketing now. We plugged your show like I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. So even if your show like is not going on right now, like all of the stuff that you talked about and all of those
Sorry.
experiences, like it's gonna stay with you like forever. So like how did it feel to be able to engage with people this way? Like during a time where the world kind of stopped, like there was no more old normal. It's everything is like new. And getting to hear their stories and like make new friends by providing them with a platform like this to be able to share themselves with everyone who listens to your show. Because like, okay, just aside like appraisal again. When we were talking about this episode, I think one of the main points we were like, okay, we have to get this person, is because I think you're the only podcaster ever that actually offers people the opportunity to willingly like
Yeah.
share their stories with you, and then like that's the way
Yeah.
that you invite them onto your show. Like you put your email if they wanna like reach out to you. Like that's fantastic. Like when we first saw that, we were at the point where we were just getting used to messaging people who we weren't close with. And that was really scary for us. And then to see like someone like this who's able to like just willingly any stranger, like doesn't even matter if they're from the Philippines or like anywhere else, and to
Yeah.
give them the chance to be your guest and just to give them a platform where they can just be themselves with you, like that's fantastic.
Thank you. I'm not good with compliments, but thank you. I guess okay, yeah. Just to answer the question, because like I kind of spaced out for a bit. There was a pause, but to answer the question, how I felt to be able to engage with those people. First, I really enjoyed the experience with them and hearing their stories, hearing what they would want to talk about, and sharing their different experiences with me. And I felt very privileged that they would give me the opportunity to interview them and I guess broadcast their story to whoever's gonna watch or listen to the podcast. So I felt very happy doing that and very privileged as well. And at the same time, it was I think that was also an opportunity for me and my friends who I was able to interview. It was an opportunity for us to talk. Like it was just us conversing. Kunyari na lang walang camera or like it's
Yeah.
not recording. But like it was an opportunity for us to talk and bond with each other. And I feel if we didn't have that episode or if we didn't have that recording session, we wouldn't really be able to have or to find the time to just sit down and talk. So
Yeah.
something that I really liked as well because we were able to reconnect also because for some of the friends I was able to interview, well, there were just three friends I was able to interview. Yeah, three. And then because like for the rest, they were just stories that people shared. So
Yeah.
for the ones I was really able to talk to talaga and not just have their story sent, what I liked was because before we talk obviously a lot when we had classes, but like physical
Yeah.
classes. But then online, we weren't able to really talk or chat or whatever. Wait, sorry, pause. But did I lag?
It's
No,
okay. The
you
audio
Like,
was
didn't.
like,
oh, okay, okay. So yeah, like we'd have the time to talk before, but then since nga the pandemic started, everyone's just been overwhelmed, and at the same time, everyone's just been super busy doing their own thing. So having the opportunity to sit down and just talk to each other through the podcast was really relaxing for me, and that was an opportunity to connect with each other. And I liked how I was able to give them a platform as well to share their stories. Because, for example, like I have this friend who I think she's my best friend, and she's not one of my best friends rather, but then she has this amazing story. Now every time I'd hear it, I know she's actually from CSA because I remember you guys said that you're from
no.
CSA. So she
Wait,
Mm.
was
what
she went
batch
to
is she
CS.
though?
Oh, she's my batch, so
Oh,
2019
okay.
in
Okay,
CSA.
well, it's not super like tight with that batch because we left.
Oh, ayun. Yeah, so and yeah, she left CSA in 2017 because we moved to a different senior high school. But okay, yeah, just sidetracking now of how she was able to overcome her medical condition through sports. And every time I'd hear her talk about it, I just get super amazed. But then, she she overcame her condition before, and then now she's a track and field athlete. So well, like it was just really inspiring for me. And every time I'd hear her talk about it, I just get inspired even more. And I thought, okay, I need to have you on my show. And like if I couldn't do a podcast, I'm gonna have to like have you as a guest because I think your story would inspire lots of other people. And
Mhm.
like even for my first guest I had, it's a friend of mine who started her started her own like business online, and then she's
Mhm.
continuously expanding it and etc. So yeah, it was also inspiring for me because I've been seeing lots of people who are getting into like starting their own businesses at such a young age, and maybe it would be nice for people who want to get into that or want to start their own business but haven't really heard anyone talk about it or haven't really seen anyone talk about it. Maybe it would be nice for them to get insights from someone who's actually done it already so that they could be maybe inspired to take that leap and start their business. So yeah, it was fun to have that opportunity to also give them the platform to share their stories. And like what I told my friend before, na it's okay even if not a lot of people would listen to my podcast as long as I'm able to like inspire maybe at least just one person to do
Yeah.
something through the episode, and that's already enough for me because at least I know that I was able to do something good for them. So that's how I
Mhm.
felt.
Mhm. Anton, it's like
Great.
looking in a mirror, man. I mean,
Why?
that
Sorry, the video quality.
It's
that
okay.
no, not you. Like,
Oh,
I
of
meant
the
like,
situation. You have to be
oh
more
god,
specific, Roman. We're like on DefCon like two
potential.
already right now.
That could be like a potential like pub for this one. Because usually when we do pubs, we do like the
It's
funny
dumb. It's
moments.
like cold open style. Like it's nothing to do with the episode.
Thank you for your camera, but ayun nga, like it's like looking in a mirror, man. I mean,
What
it's
mirror? What?
it's wonderful talaga hearing you say na parang you want like the podcast to be this platform for people to share their stories because for us too we feel the same way. That's exactly how we conduct our podcast, or at least after we decided to not just be guys talking about stupid stuff and
Yep.
not invite guests. But
Yep.
ayun nga, when we started inviting people, we were like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's insane to think that we are talking to people probably like for the first time or maybe the first time in a while in like an online setting, and then we're here getting to know them, diba? And like us hosts were like, wow. I mean, and then we also get to be that platform for them to share the things that they're passionate about, and like we get to have some sort of like impact. I mean, no matter how small it is, diba?
Yeah.
And we're like, it's so surreal to think that. I mean, ako personally, I didn't even like listen to podcasts like before, and then now I can say that, oh, I have a podcast too. And it's so funny because I didn't really like listen to podcasts before. I didn't even care for them too much. And
Same.
then
Not gonna
now
lie.
now here we are. We're actually hosts, diba?
Someone saying that
Yeah.
about us.
Yeah, someone's saying that about us. Like, look at these podcast guys, diba?
Yeah. And it's
Oh, but
like when you hear the stories of these people, but it reinforces the thinking that people are so complex and no two
Yeah.
people are the same, because like we all have these different sides to us, different
mm,
stories, and also it's just like an amazing experience to able to talk to people and hear
mm.
their stories.
And it's cool na like what you mentioned kanina, like podcasts kind of had this rise or like a boom, like especially during the pandemic. And
Yep.
I like how
Yeah.
like when you see all these podcasts, parang they talk to people nga, and they have their guests like share whatever it is they want to share. And I really think that especially during this time, the pandemic, it's really important for people to like kind of like connect more. Diba? I know it's online, it's not like in person. I know
Yeah.
it's different, pero alam mo yun, it's better than nothing. And
Yeah.
ayun nga, like I mentioned, even if it's
Yeah.
online, parang you really feel it talaga na like, oh my god, like I'm so inspired. Like I mean, there are lots of times in the podcast that we have, I get goosebumps like from what
Yeah.
some
We're
people say.
speechless. We don't know what to say.
Yeah, oh, we're like, we're just gonna edit the parts where we don't say anything because we're like our jaws are like on the floor like
Yeah.
after
We
what you
just
just
like.
said. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's and nakaka-proud din na parang alam mo yun, like you can say na during the pandemic na hey, like we did something to sort of like uh,
Give
connect
people
with
that old
people,
normal.
and yes, and give people that old normal, give
Yeah.
them a platform to talk about the things that they're passionate about. Because if you think about it, kung hindi ka naman artista,
Yeah.
diba? You don't really get the chance to sit down and talk about the things that you're
Yeah.
passionate about, diba? And we've had
Exactly.
people say that.
Exactly.
We've had people say that na parang, oh my God, guys, like I can't believe I actually sat down and talked with a bunch of strangers about my passion. It's crazy, diba? And it gave them
The
like
boost, the motivation.
the motivation and like further reflection as to why they do the things they do. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, on our end also, it's so surreal that like people are thinking like it's such an honor to be on our show, when on our side it's
Yeah.
exactly the same. We're like, can't believe they said yes to us. Like the hell, we're actually gonna have this
Yeah,
person on our
like
show. Then when
who
we
the
get
hell
on,
are
we're
we,
just like,
man?
we're just people, like we're just friends talking.
Mhm.
Same thoughts for like when I get my friends to actually say yes. I mean, like I know they're my friends, but then
It's a big
just
commitment
getting that
also. Yeah,
yes from
yeah.
them, yeah, and then getting people also to send their stories before. Parang, wow, thank you so much for trusting me with this and allowing me to post this. So thank you. But yeah, thank you as well. So
Mm.
like to you guys, like with reaching out and all, because before I was actually like hesitant talaga, not gonna lie, because I thought, oh my gosh, what am I gonna talk about with my podcast? I literally stopped it a year ago. So I was like, oh, what am I gonna say? Maybe I wouldn't be able to give as much
Mhm.
insights
Yeah.
as you guys would probably wish, or I don't know, like I had no idea how you guys wanted to um angle this episode. So at first I was kind of hesitant na parang oh, I don't know what to say. Because like their podcast hasn't been active. But yeah, super duper glad I said yes. And it's like actually just a side kwento, but then Anton's cousin, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Frankie.
Franco's your cousin pala.
Frankie
So
boy.
I
Shout
think
out.
he was the one who shout out to Franco. But yun, he was the one who messaged me about it pa na, oh, my cousin invited you pala. And then I remembered na, oh, right, I was supposed to reply na, yun nga, like, I'm going to say G naman. But then yun, he reminded me about it. And then, yeah, thank you to you guys. Thank you to Franco for that. But
Yes.
yeah, it's been super fun talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
It's
And
an
thank
honor
you
on
also
my part.
for being here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I guess for the people listening, you already know what time it is. It's time for the legendary
Last
S.U.S podcast
question.
question. So, like,
Okay.
it's legendary because we literally, this is a staple question. We literally ask
Oh,
like every guest this,
okay.
to maybe tailor it to you. So, like, being very capable of, managing a number of things at a time, diba? With ACADS, and then, at the time you did your podcast, then of course you do your thing with spin. So, do you have any like life advice to share for anyone, like whether it's a student or it could be like an intern or could be a podcaster like us, someone who's doing content or someone who's thinking about it. So, like any advice at all that you can
I'd
share.
say like this is something I also tell people like when they ask me for like with my friends like
Yeah.
they'd ask me for advice ganon. Something I always would say, and I remind myself of this advice then constantly, but it's to just not pressure yourself, take your time and trust the process. Like just 100% trust the process. Because if you rush things, then you wouldn't get the outcome that you intended for it. Because and also things happen like unexpectedly na would probably not go according to your plan or according to how you wanted it to. But just trust the process. Just go with the flow and everything would fall into its perfect place at the perfect time. Everything will fall into place at the perfect time. So really just trust the process and don't rush. Like because for example now we see a lot of people doing all of these things online because since we're all just online, we've I guess found more free time, more quote unquote free time. So lots of people have been doing all of these things. Like you see people starting their own organizations, you see people starting their own businesses or putting themselves out there, like starting their own podcast or their vlogs or and whatnot. And then sometimes you might feel now maybe you're not doing enough, or sometimes you might feel na maybe like what am I doing with my life? Like I get those moments a lot as well. Na I would start questioning na, damn, I like what am I doing? Like, but then parang you shouldn't feel pressured to do something just because you see someone doing it.
Yes.
You just take your time, and we all have our own paths.
Yeah.
We all have our own strengths as well as individuals. Now, if you just have to find it as well, and don't pressure yourself. Now you have to figure everything out now, because you have still have lots of time to figure things out. And well, just because you see someone doing something, then doesn't mean you have to compare yourself then to them, because we all have our own timelines and we all have our own thing that um that's unique to us. So just chill and everything would fall into place. So I said so many things that probably are just me repeating it, but
It's
it's
for
just something na
emphasis.
for emphasis
Emphasis,
then na
yeah.
just really take your time talaga. Don't feel pressured. And also if you see someone parang doing something na you think you want to do then, and then you might get jealous or might kind of compare na parang, oh, why is this person getting this much attention and then I'm doing the same thing but then I'm not getting the same attention. Then just be happy for that person, because that person has
Yeah.
also been working really hard. And
Yeah.
you should just focus on your own growth. And I remember seeing this from the subtle art of not giving I don't want to say the word, but I mean, like, I know I can say it. But
He said it
like,
for you. All right.
thank you. But yeah, I remember seeing like not verbatim, but then it was something related to you. Like you shouldn't measure yourself based on another person's was it timeline or
Yeah.
I have the book right here, but I'm pretty sure I highlighted it, but that's gonna take so much time if I try to look for it. But basically, just parang you shouldn't measure your happiness on other people, and you shouldn't measure like your your measure of success rather should not be
Yeah.
dependent on other people. Okay, that's it. That's it. Like not exactly like the quote on the
Yeah,
book, but
of
then that
course.
was the message of that quote was to really parang you wouldn't feel happy if you keep comparing to yourself to other people. If you keep measuring that, okay, my like I would only say that I'm successful if I get the same like attention as this person, or if I get the job that this person has. Because well, like we all have our own timeline. So just focus on your own thing, and again, everything will fall into place at its perfect time. So that's it for me.
All right.
So basically,
Oh,
don't run someone else's race.
Oh, yes,
yes.
yes,
There we
yes,
go.
yes,
There's your
yes.
Mm.
third.
Look at that. Look at that. Pero yeah, I mean, like what Bea said nga, don't feel pressured nga to do things that you like wish you could do, or maybe because other people are doing it. Especially since we're in a pandemic, you feel it's normal to feel na parang I'm not really doing anything with my life,
Yeah,
di
Yeah,
ba? I mean, literally like just waking up every single day.
that's
That takes
something
a lot,
already.
di
Yeah.
ba? And
exactly.
like I kid you guys not, like letting things come to you, and when you discover something you love, like out of nowhere without expecting it, it just like falls into your lap. It is the best feeling in the world to, alam mo na, like really just like pursue that thing. Like, and I
Yeah,
could say na, like for us, that's the podcast, the
Yeah,
S.U.S
for sure.
podcast.
100%.
I mean, before we were like,
We were
yeah,
scared to
we're
talk to
friends.
like batchmates in school, like kept to
Yeah.
ourselves always, and to be able to like reach out to people who, if not for this platform, I don't think we would have ever met ever.
yeah.
Oh, if not for that one Zoom call that we had talking about the usual bull crap that we talk about, and having that idea in our heads without expecting it, or like, even wanting it at first, and looking at us now doing this, it's it's surreal.
There's no
It's
words
True.
really. It's just
Yeah.
so I
Butterfly
really
effect.
yeah, but
so I hope for whoever's watching out there, or listening, we hope now that you guys find
niche.
um your niche. We hope you find your sis podcast, diba? Doesn't have to be a podcast, but
Yeah, it can
you
be
know what I
whatever you
mean.
want. Whatever's the most you,
Mm,
just be
Yeah.
you.
it's amazing. It's life changing,
It's
and I mean,
unforgettable.
yeah. Me and Ton
True.
always say na, despite being in a pandemic, 2021 is still one of the best. I mean,
Yeah.
dare I say even like
Yeah, the best
the
year that
best
we've had, I think,
year we've had.
because of
Growth
this.
wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Why do you have to you're gonna make me like making me
This
emotional?
the silence when we just reflect.
Yeah, people
Constantly
are like,
reflect.
oh, they weren't lagging, they were just being quiet
Like
Yeah,
because
that's
they're
not the
feeling the
era.
moment.
yeah.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh, this is such a nice way for us to reflect on why talaga we love doing this show alongside someone who loves it maybe even more than we do, I think.
Mm.
But we do
Perfect
have
guest.
one more question. It's one that we
Okay.
ask all of our guests, but we don't include it when we send the doc on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, being a podcast host, you'd understand this also. In the beginning, kasi like what Ramon kept saying kanina, we were just a bunch of friends who thought we were gonna be talking about whatever each week. And once we started getting guests, that's when we started seeing like how much we really love listening to the stories of other people instead of just our usual shit like every week. Getting to hear what they're passionate about and giving us the opportunity to help them share it with the rest of the world is really something that, we wouldn't trade in for anything else. And that's why we decided to rebrand the way we did things. And now we're more focused on motivating the passion to pursue and, reuniting and bringing people together. And like this, just having conversations with honestly someone who now it feels like we've known for years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm the only one who got that vibe, but like, I feel like I'm just in a normal like kwento call lang, like
Yeah, honestly, like before
between
this,
friends.
before this, I was like pretty nervous because obviously we're gonna be having someone we don't know,
Yeah,
as opposed to an old friend or whatever.
but
But then when the conversation started, parang wala,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
It just felt
oh,
very natural. The parang we've been friends for so long. Like
yeah.
you guys are also super easy to talk to. Like,
despite the
so I
lagging, it's
guess
just the
that's it.
lags.
Yeah.
Once you get past the
It's-
lags, it's all good.
Likewise,
Um,
likewise.
yeah, for sure. But like on your end, being the guest, and meeting us for the first time and getting to sit in the other end of the podcast like spectrum, like how do you feel having gone on this adventure with us?
Honestly, it reinforced, I guess, my motivation to relaunch talaga, like beyond surface level. Because I really like talking to people, and I haven't had chance to do so in so long. Like the extent of my calls with people would be for group works. And that is something I don't look forward to, obviously, 'cause that's school.
True.
But
It's the cuento
I
during
mean,
the group work,
yeah,
the thing
it's
that
the
has nothing to
content.
do with the assignment.
Exactly. So that's what I enjoy when I have like the group works. But then for just in generally parang just a casual sit down and talking with people, I miss that a lot. And I don't know, like just talking to you guys, I guess it really motivated me and reinforced my desire to relaunch the podcast and to continue with like the plans I have for it and all that. And it made me see as well how important it is to just talk to people and having these conversations with them, taking leave, saying yes to things. Na like, for example, for me at first I was kind of hesitant because I didn't know what I was gonna say, but I'm glad I said yes and have had this opportunity to talk to you guys and to listen as well. As to like how like your reason, but rather with starting this podcast, listening to you guys and listening to you guys share your whys, your stories, your journey, your process throughout the whole thing. So it was a really, really fun experience na I'm super duper glad I said yes to. And I'm super glad this episode pushed through despite all the
Yes,
delays. So the
that's
fact
Mm,
I got sick, and then at one
yeah.
point
Oh.
para it was coinciding with another meeting for school, and like there was just so many things that were happening, and it was like, wow, is the universe trying not to get us to do the episode? But perhaps we have been able to do so, and yeah, we're here right now, and we've had more than an hour of conversation. So,
Yeah.
and I
this
actually
was
didn't
our day
notice, parang
one.
I
This was our
literally
day one.
I just saw that it's 6:30 na, and I remember we started what 5, past
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. This might be our longest episode.
But who cares, honestly? Like this,
Yeah.
I don't really care. I could talk about this shit for like hours on end. Like no joke, being able to relate to someone who understands what it's like to be in our
Yes.
position. Like it's so
Mhm.
similar. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Because I know all podcasters like more or less the general way that they do things is the same, but like how you see
Yeah.
people and how we see people, like everyone's story is different. And to have found someone who has such a similar way of doing things as us, especially someone who does it on their own, like
Mhm.
wow, like I don't know. Yan na naman,
Salute.
speechless.
Yung pause la, tapos
No, no, no,
reply.
speechless. Um, but yeah, we're so happy that we were able to give you this space that you need to kind of push you to continue. Because yeah, aside from being able to do this and like meet new people, like our goal is always to make the guests realize why they love doing what they do. Like no matter what it is, like whether it be like art or business or like this posting a podcast, like we're really happy that we were able to be that platform for you to realize that you love doing something like this. And that's what makes us love doing something like this too.
Yeah, why you guys do this?
Yes, this is exactly why we do this.
That's the title.
I love the full circle. She found a way
Full
to
circle.
full circle it talaga. But yeah, it's been such an honor having you here with us, Bea. And
Thank you so much.
we will be plugging
Likewise.
all of her stuff in the description of our YouTube video. When she relaunches her podcast, we're gonna be blasting that for sure. We're gonna be
Thank
giving
you
her all
so
the support
much.
she needs. Hopefully, everyone who's listening to be more keen to see what changes are in store for when she gets back on the platform. But aside from that, thank you to everyone who's been watching. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, it's really such an honor to have been able to provide this platform for our guests and for ourselves to kind of reflect on why we love doing this. And of course, it's always for you guys, the audience. We just love giving you guys content and making you all happy. And hopefully, this has helped make your COVID experience like that much better. So, yeah, we'll see you when we see you. This has been the S.U.S with why
I'll
we
see
do
you.
this. See you guys whenever.
Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for tuning in to more screen.